everyone, and welcome back. My people, the truth is out. Like all these attacks to Peter Obi is a very well planned attack. Like it's deliberate. Like this is not a joke, because I want you guys to listen to this APC chieftain, Mr. Adamu Gauba, like what he said in this video. According to him, he said that APC must strategize against Peter Obi to avoid defeat in 2027. Like they need to contain obedient movement as well as Peter Obi to avoid defeat in 2027. So this is the reason why all the state Peter Obi won election in 2023. You see, that is where all these attacks are coming. So it is not a joke, my people, and more are coming. Like Peter Obi and the obedient movement need to be very, very careful. My people, just take a listen.
Strategic defections and security back-channel deals to mountain tensions between regional blocs within the APC. 2027 may feel distant, but the political machinery is already roaring. With Tinubu navigating turbulent waters and the opposition forging coalitions, the landscape is shifting fast. Multiple defections into the APC are raising eyebrows. Everyone wants a piece of the ruling pie, but come 2027, how many candidates can the party realistically take out without combusting?
And then there's another puzzle. Buhari's mass base in the north feels unclaimed. Or did Alhaji Atiku Abubakar claim that? There's been, of course, whispers of resentment towards Tinubu's presidency. And is this lingering? Is the APC slowly losing grip on its northern muscle? Meanwhile, outside the APC, opposition coalitions are consolidating. New alliances, joint declarations, and subtle threats are, of course, brewing. Is the party's confident exterior just a mask? Well, joining us for this discussion is the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Adamu Gauba. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, so many questions to ask, but let's talk about the defections. We've seen a lot of major defections into the APC, but are there concerns about the risk of overloading the system with too many power centers, too few positions? Would you worry about the possibility of internal frictions?
Yeah, naturally, there are going to be some tension, because if you look at most of the states where we have defections, especially Delta State and Akwa Ibom State, they came into the APC, which is a very good welcome development, by the way, but there are also existing APC members in those states. So there is need for consolidation and conciliation, because they hitherto fought against each other in the previous campaign, and now they are coming together as a team. And you know, this tension and collusion due to campaign may likely give rise to some challenges in between them. So now that they are together, there must be need for proper consolidation so that the existing members within the APC doesn't feel alienated by the coming of the executive authority that are coming from the PDP into the APC. So all those things are required to be fixed. And that is why we keep advocating that let there be a strong leadership of the party so that it can be able to consolidate and unite the forces in the party as we get so much defection from the opposition party into our party. Otherwise, it may likely be, instead of a net plus, it may be net minus, and we don't want it to be a net negative. So it has to be a positive on our ledger.
You did talk about this mass defection into the APC. And at some point, you also refer to them as sycophants. Do you agree with that statement that others have equally made, that in as much as people are moving to the APC, it seems like a way of just, kind of like bowing to the president, and also doing all they can so they can look good before him? Can you also share with us why you would tag such move as a sycophancy, or sycophants who have decided to join the party?
No, I think you didn't get me right. I didn't say that the people moving from the, of course, opposition party into the APC are on the basis of sycophancy. What I was saying when I mentioned the sycophant issue was that we are having a defection from our party to the new coalition of ADC, especially in northern part of Nigeria. But there are some people that are close to the president that are insisting that all is well, which I believe all is not well. And that is why it's important to sound this alarm, because we know who the president is. He's a leader. He cares for this country. He is one of the strongest pillars of Nigeria's democracy, in fact, African democracy. And he will have to do the right thing when he knows that things are wrong. And that is why we are sounding this alarm. It has nothing to do with people coming from the opposition party into our party. That is a plus to us, and we welcome it. But what we are saying is that the people inside the party, the people that these people from opposition coming to meet into our party, should not feel alienated by the influx of the new members coming from outside the party into the party. And that's basically where I make that point. But on the issue of psychophancy, I was saying things are not well. We're losing members by the day, especially in northern part of Nigeria, post-Buhari, and that it is very important that we strategize in how we can maintain our base in the north, so that we don't lose a great number of people that eventually could lead to our problem in 2027.
Thank you for clearing the air on that. We just to follow up on some of the things you highlighted. You said all is not well, especially with the Northern Bloc. You belong to the Northern Bloc of the party, and the Northern power brokers seem to be calculating their moves ahead of 2027. Some claim the region feels left out under the Tinubu presidency. Is APC at risk of alienating its biggest voting bloc? What are exactly the grounds and the issues with the Northern Bloc of the APC? Why are people not happy? Why did you say all is not well in the APC, especially with regards to the North?
You know, the traditional belief in the North is that once somebody at the helm of affairs is not from the North, then there is this perception of alienation. So what you do if you are from the South is to consistently communicate and clear the path that there is no alienation. And based on the current order, there is actually no alienation. It's all based on perception. But communicating the flow and the inclusivity of the current government to the North is short. And that is why they are feeling alienated. Number one. Number two, you have the strongest pillar of Northern APC in late former President Muhammadu Buhari. May God rest his soul, who died recently. And with his loss, he has a teeming supporters. And when you calculate it, since the time he was involved in politics, he consistently bring about 12 million votes. In 2023 election, we lost this through 12 million votes. We only got 5.5 million votes. And that is not really good for us. And now that we have an opposition coalition that is predominantly, driven by some of the actors in the North, and also having some former ministers of Buhari's government moving with the opposition coalition of ADC, they don't have any serious political weight. They are paperweight, but then they have propaganda value. Because this same propaganda value was what propelled so many of the APC governors in the North under the banner of Buhari to become what they become. So if these guys are able to take opportunity on our own disconnect with the people in the North and rally a propaganda around themselves, they may inherit Buhari's following, and that could spell doom for us. So the best solution is for us to re-strategize and still maintain our base by making sure that the APC live in the North post-Buhari. Not that in the absence of Buhari, we lose considerable amount of supporters. And if we lose support of the North, especially the core North, then there is going to be a very serious problem. And that is actually why I'm sounding the alarm that let the government do something about it. Let us not give them opportunity to prey, on our shortcomings by doing something wrong that will push so many of the members of the party to the opposition on the perception of alienation, because it's just perception, it's not a reality.
All right, I still want us to stay with the North. I mean, you're still talking about being able to gather the influence in the North that initially was, belonged to late former President Muhammadu Buhari. And I want to bring in Alhaji Atiku Abubakar into the conversation. There was at the time when he announced his exit from the PDP, it coincided with the time when the nation was mourning the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And there were those who speculated that that was very timely because they felt like it was a political statement in a way to sort of consolidate the North. Do you think that His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has the influence to sort of take over that, that section of the North? Or do you think that his announcing of his exit from the PDP during the time of the morning was strategic enough to win that influence that formerly belonged to late former President Muhammadu Buhari?
Actually, he's making effort to do that. That is actually his target. And that's why I mentioned that they are trying to prey from our weaknesses. And the demise of late former President Muhammadu Buhari has opened a wide door for them to encroach on our traditional domain. And when you go back to the history of our 2023 election, they have actually made some inroad. Atiku Abubakar, then the candidate of PDP, made a very significant inroad. He took over Kaduna from APC because Kaduna was actually won by the PDP. He also won Katsina State. He won Sokoto State, right? That's in the northwest part of the country, and so many of the northeastern states. So it means that there is a gradual encroachment on our traditional domain. And history has started documenting that. As I told you, that prior to 2023 election, in just 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari was able to bring this 12 million vote banks. But in 2023, we lost to 5.5 million votes. Was able to bring this 12 million vote banks. But in 2023, we lost to 5.5 million votes. And this is a significant loss. And the net gain went into the opposition under the leadership of then in PDP Atiku Abubakar. So it means that the more we lose, the more they gain. So what can we do to make sure that they don't gain from our loss? And what can we do to continue to maintain our traditional base? And that's why I say we need to recalibrate our strategy in approach to northern Nigeria, so that we can continue to maintain our base. Otherwise, we risk losing significant chunk to the opposition. And that is not good for us because APC as a party has its own significant voting population consistently coming from northern Nigeria. From its evolution into ANPP, down to CPC, ANPP, and then ACN, ABGA, and some part of PDP. When you look at all the combination, it was always consistently, the majority of the vote consistently come from the north. In fact, in the last election, the South only gave APC 3.7 million votes. Why did not get 5.5 million votes? Right? So when you look at all those kind of calculation, and we mistakenly lose significant chunk again to the opposition, it's not really looking good for us. And I don't want us to lose election. I don't want to make new friends in a new place. I already have a lot of friends in the APC. We have already established a community. We want to continue to lead the country for the good services we've been delivering. If you look at what APC is doing in this country, I think this is the only moment where we are having a stable, consistent, and responsible leadership. When you look at on the security front, we have practically eliminated majority of the security threat in this country. Most of the bandits that ravages the Northwest are now eliminated, especially the bandit leaders. We used to have 75 bandit leaders. Now we have only 3 surviving. 72 were eliminated. You know the situation that we have in the Southeast, where we have the disturbances of Simon Ekpa, Biafra government in exile, causing a lot of mayhem. Now all those things are eliminated. Again, when you come back to the Northeast, where you have Boko Haram, I can tell you authoritatively that I saw video, though classified, not published, because some of the security activities are not published, that Mandara Mountain, that's the bedrock of Boko Haram's operation, has been dislodged by our military. As I'm talking to you now, a lot of operations are being done to make sure we recapture Sambisa Forest. A whole mighty Sambisa Forest is now going to be captured by the APC. By the APC government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, and then under the guardianship of Maladu Ribadu in NSA. So a lot of effort have been done to fix our security issues. When you come to the economy, people think that the hardship we are facing today, is not done by the government. The government knows there is no way you remove subsidy that you will not face hardship. But this hardship is actually the necessary pathway to enduring and lasting prosperity. And if
Yeah, Mr. Garba, you've said, I mean, it almost sounds like...
when you centralize the resources. So what we're trying to do in the APC is to centralize the resources so that you can have equitable distribution for effective development.
I guess the voters will decide, and you've mentioned all those great things that the APC is doing, but at the end of the day, you need to convince the voters to get on board and to vote. Now, that brings us to the talks of strategy. What's the real objective behind the Tinubu-Kwankwaso engagement? We've seen recently images of meetings this week, even the president, which comes amidst several rumors as we speak, is still a member of the NNPP. He hasn't said he's going to the APC. Is there something going on behind the scenes? And does it signify reconciliation, or is the APC absorbing a rival to neutralize threats? And how important will it be for Kwankwaso and his Kwankwasia movement to be on board with the APC? Do you see that happening anytime soon, or the possibility of it?
You see, I don't want to speculate on the media, but I want to believe that the president is the father of Nigerian democracy. So what he is trying to do is to consolidate all our democratic organs in the country. If you see so many, because of this his approach, the rapprochement, you have seen even sitting executive governors in some states within the opposition party, the PDP, are coming into the APC. So the president is also making inroads into another opposition party, NNPP in Kano, through their leader, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, His Excellency, to join the APC. I think it's one of the good things that we should expect. By the way, he has a very strong following in Kano State. The Kwankwasia movement is a formidable force, it's a formidable political force. And you know, in the last election, Kano gave about 1.5 million votes. He took 1 million, we took 500,000. So what is wrong if we get additionally the 1 million votes that is coming from him, you know, back into the APC? So I think all those kind of re-strategizing and reorganizing and also reproaching the opposition party is all part of the politicking, and I think much will be seen as we move forward. But to me, I think it's a good thing if our president is opening doors to welcome almost all members of the opposition into the party. It just shows that the APC is doing a very good job, and people are actually capitulating to the interests of the APC.
All right. If you say the APC is doing a very good job, what do you make of the name, Mr. Peter Obi? Because that name seems not to have left the lips of every single APC member. Is he a threat to the APC?
Of course. You see, they say a snake is a snake. Whether it's a baby snake or a mature snake. The good thing is that once it grows, it will still bite. So Peter Obi is a significant force. It's a threat. He has a massive following, almost like a cult online following, the obedient movement that is acknowledged globally, and that they are determined, right, and they are very organic. So why can't the obedient movement work for the APC? Why don't we have this kind of energy? So I think it's a threat, naturally, you know, based on the way he's moving. And if you look at his inroad, he's even penetrating some part of northern Nigeria, some part of, especially in the north central. So he's actually a threat. And I don't believe in APC we can underestimate any opposition, right? So he might win if you underestimate him. So the best solution is to see how we can contain him as much as possible. And I think we are doing a very good job in containing the obedient movement, you know, because they lack organization, they lack structure, and their core principle is anger, you know, against the status quo. And that once you invest emotion, you know, in a movement, you always lose. You know, you always lose the way. So you must have to be tactical, you must have to be very strategic. And I think these are some of the weaknesses of the obedient movement. And on these weaknesses, we are containing them as much as we can.
So when you say you're containing, the obedient movement, what do you mean? When you say you're containing the obedient movement?
When you say containment, right, it means that the same way they are exerting their own strategic imprints, towards defeating our party, we are also countering this strategy, as much as possible by making sure that we encroach into their domain and win. After all, we have, when you look at Peter Obi's traditional domains, where he had a very strong following, he got 4 million votes in the south. He was actually the winner in the southern Nigeria, and then he got 2 million votes in the north. So most of the areas where he had strong impact were now consolidated under the APC. In Delta State, for instance, you can see that in Akwa Ibom, you can see that in Lagos, it's all consolidated. The entire Southwest are now completely, comprehensively consolidated. In the Southeast, there is a lot of divisions and structures, and then we have APC governors in the South. It's 2 APC governors, and more are coming. So when you look at all those things, you will see a very clear strategic containment policy, whereby we will make sure that the force we receive from the obedient movement is not repeated in 2027. And
does this strategy containment policy include planting moles in other political parties to ensure that there's an implosion from within these political parties, because a house divided within itself cannot stand?
Yeah, you see, the thing is that there is no any getting into like APC. I heard so many people are saying that you have people inside the opposition political parties are now implanted as moles to disrupt their internal proceedings so that they don't succeed. That's the thinking, but no, it's not the case. Political party system in Nigeria, especially the opposition, have hardly ever got themselves together. Just check the history. So what we are witnessing in the Labour Party is exactly what we are witnessing in the SDP. It's exactly what we are witnessing in the NNPP and so many other political parties. For instance, like let me take for example, NNPP. We spoke about the Concourse. NNPP has only one state, which is Kano. But then they sacked the leader in Kano, Concourse, and they are even questioning the membership of the Concoursia movement in the NNPP. So you now begin to wonder why these kind of challenges. So are we saying that these things that have been happening even prior to the 2023 election is actually the result of what we are seeing? Now, if you go back to Abure's case, like in the Labour Party, it's almost the same case. He had several issues with Apapa led Labour Party. So these things have been happening even prior to us getting the government, right? Winning the victory in 2023 election. So it is always a problem. There's always an issue with the opposition party. So it's just self-inflicted injuries that they are getting on themselves. And the fact that it's working to our advantage, we cannot go and help them fix the problem. And I guess that's what our president even said. We cannot go and help you fix your problem if you are immature enough to organize yourself as a formidable force to confront us. Then your loss is our gain that is good for us. And that's the issue. The issue is purely internal. It's a self-inflicted injury. And it's to our benefit, so we welcome it.
Okay.
But we are not a party to that situation.
Now, earlier during our conversation, you did talk about the loss, the political capital after the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari. There might be some gap there with northern vote, and there are people that are willing to capitalize. He was revered and had a cult-like followership in the north. But what we're seeing now, the political calculations with regards to the coalition, the ADC, quite a number of former President Muhammadu Buhari's ministers that work closely with him are part of this coalition. Do you feel threatened by the coalition, and do you feel they have the power to get what will be typically Buhari votes?
Frankly speaking, they are a formidable force and they are a threat. Politically, they are paperweight. Most of them have no strong political value at all. When you look at the list of those ministers that have moved into the ADC, there are people that served in Buhari's government for sometimes 8 years, but they hardly even assisted and supported the same.
So you think a former governor like Nasir El-Rufai doesn't have political capital?
No. Nasir El-Rufai was not a minister under Buhari's government. He was a governor, right? And that,
yes, a former governor. I beg your pardon.
He is definitely a political force, but will not inflict that strategic defeat that people are expecting that the ADC should that ADC should have against the APC, right? But then they are still a force. They are still a threat because they have propaganda advantage. And that same propaganda advantage is what, as I mentioned to you, many governors in the north were able to ride on this propaganda advantage to become governors under the mantra of Buhari. And now that he is no longer there to substantiate and filter who is with us and who is not with us, they may ride on this propaganda advantage, and it will give them a strategic win. To be very candid with you, if we don't do the right thing on time, we will risk losing the entire Buhari's cult following to the opposition ADC. And that is why people like us are sounding the alarm that we need to do something very urgently. Even if they don't have the political value as envisioned, some of them, they have propaganda advantage with them. And you know how propaganda works in politics. Once people have a perception that this is exactly what is happening, and they have internalized and decided to operationalize it, it will go against us. And that is why I said we have to do something very urgently to fix the challenges.
So my people, that is it. I believe that one day these people will come out and confess that Peter Obi is the winner of that 2023 election. Gradually, the truth is coming out. So now they are saying that Peter Obi is a threat to APC. So they must strategize to make sure that they avoid Peter Obi defeating APC in 2027 because they don't want what happened in 2023 to happen in 2027. This is why they are attacking Peter Obi here and there because they know very well that when it comes to free and fair election in Nigeria, there is no way Peter Obi will not win Tinubu. So these people are very, very afraid of Peter Obi, honestly. So it left for this opposition coalition to do the needful if truly they want to take power from Tinubu, and they are sincere about, doing this because of Nigerians, right? Anyway, my people, so make I bring this update to you guys. Do wait to subscribe for more updates, like the video, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Chamress News TV.